My name is Claire, and I used to believe in miracles. Not the fairy tale kind, not the walking on water kind. I believed in small, quiet ones, the kind you whisper about at night while tucking your child into bed. The kind that smell like baby lotion and sound like lullabies sung slightly off-key. My miracle had a name. Her name was Lily. She was 7 when the fever started. Just a sniffle at first, the kind you chalk up to too much running around barefoot in the yard. I gave her Tylenol, made her chicken noodle soup, and told her she'd be back to chasing fireflies in no time. But sometimes, life doesn't turn back. Sometimes, it only turns away. 3 days later, I was sitting on a cold hospital bench, clutching a stuffed giraffe in my lap, while a doctor with 2 kind eyes whispered words that sounded like a foreign language. Sepsis, too fast. We did everything we could. I don't remember screaming, though they said I did. I don't remember collapsing, though someone found me on the floor, shaking so hard they thought I was having a seizure. What I do remember, clearer than anything, is the sound of her heartbeat on the monitor. A gentle beep, a promise, then silence. The day the sky went quiet. I didn't go home for 3 days. I couldn't. The house was still full of her shoes by the door, her drawing of a rainbow magnet to the fridge, her tiny voice echoing in the hallway where she used to sing made-up songs to our cat, Mr. Buttons. I sat in my car outside, engine off, windows fogged from my breath and my grief. I wanted someone to climb in and say it had all been a mistake, that Lily was still inside waiting for me, a blanket over her knees, a storybook in her hand. But no one came. And God didn't say a word. People came and went, with casseroles and condolences, with she's in a better place, and God needed another angel, as if their words could glue my soul back together. I nodded. I thanked them. I even hugged some of them. But inside, I was hollow. A porcelain cup someone had dropped from a great height. I stopped sleeping. I stopped eating. I started walking late at night, barefoot through the dew-wet grass in our backyard, just so I could feel something real again. And every night, I asked the same question. Why? Why would a loving God let a child suffer like that? Why would he give me a miracle just to rip it from my arms? What kind of heaven needs to borrow a little girl from her mother? One night, I stood in Lily's empty room. I hadn't touched anything. The bed was still unmade from the morning we rushed to urgent care. Her favorite unicorn nightlight still glowed dimly in the corner. I buried my face in her pillow, breathed in the faint scent of strawberry shampoo, and fell to my knees. That's when I broke. And that's when I finally spoke, not just to the sky, not to the silence, but to him. Are you even there? I didn't whisper it like a prayer. I shouted it, cried it, choked on it. Are you listening? Because if you are, then tell me, what kind of God takes children? I sobbed until my throat burned, until I couldn't feel my arms, until the grief became something physical, something clawing inside my ribs, desperate to escape. That was the night I gave up, or at least I thought I had. The next morning, I woke on Lily's bedroom floor. There was light streaming through the curtains, soft, golden, the kind she would have called sunshine syrup. I blinked. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. Then I heard it. Not a voice in the way you hear someone speak beside you, but something deeper, a knowing, a presence, and then words not mine, not imagined, words that wrapped themselves around me like arms I hadn't known I needed. I never left you. My body went still. I didn't imagine that. I couldn't have. It wasn't my voice. It wasn't the voice of a grieving mother. It was something older, stronger, infinite. I was there when she took her first breath, and I was there when she took her last. I was holding her, Claire, just like I'm holding you now. Tears spilled again, but they felt different this time. Not bitter, not sharp, warm, gentle, like the kind Lily used to kiss from my cheeks when I cried over silly things. I sat up slowly, my whole body trembling. Then why? I whispered. Why take her? Why take my baby? The silence returned, but it no longer felt empty. It felt full. It felt ready. And somehow I knew. The answer was coming. I sat on Lily's floor, knees pulled to my chest, hands trembling. I didn't know if I was going mad or being awakened, but I knew what I felt wasn't a hallucination. It was him, God. And when I asked my question, when I whispered through broken breath, why take her? Why my baby? He answered, not with thunder, not with lightning, but with love that felt like warm oil pouring into the cracks of my soul. And he said, Claire, listen to me. You are asking me why. Why I let her go. Why the breath stopped. Why the light dimmed in her little body while your heart still beats. You are asking me why I take children, why I allow pain, why I permit grief to knock at your door and shatter everything you held sacred. But what you don't see, what no mother ever sees, is that I never took her the way you think I did. I received her. She did not die alone. She was never alone. In the moment you screamed for her in that hospital room, I was there, holding her spirit like the softest, most fragile flame. I held her tighter than your arms ever could. Not because your arms failed, but because hers had grown wings. She was never gone, Claire. Not from me. Not from you. You asked me why they're suffering, why I allow the world to bleed and mothers to break. But the world is broken not by my hands, but by the ones that forgot me. Still, I step into the wreckage. Still, I reach for you through the ruin. Because I love you more than your grief dares believe. You think your love for Lily is vast? Mine is greater. You count the days you had with her? I crafted her eternity. You saw 7 years. I see forever. Every laugh you shared, I recorded it in heaven. Every night you held her during a storm, I wrapped you both in my arms. And when the final storm came for her, when you collapsed under the weight, I lifted her out of the pain. I brought her into a place where fevers cannot reach, where sorrow has no voice, where tears fall only in joy. You do not see the whole story, Claire. You see the torn page, but I see the book, and I am still writing. You are still here, not because I forgot your pain, but because I trust your strength. You were chosen not for punishment, but for purpose. You are the echo of her love now. Your voice carries her memory, and your life, though shattered, will sing again. But I need you to trust me, even when it hurts, especially when it hurts. Let me carry you the same way I carried her. Let me show you how light still rises after darkness. I did not abandon you in that hospital. I wept with you. I stayed when everyone else left. And I never, ever stopped loving you. You are still my daughter, even in your rage, even in your ruin. Now rise, Claire, not as the mother of the lost, but as the woman who walks hand in hand with the one who restores. The air in Lily's room felt thick with holiness, like something unseen had made itself visible without needing to be seen. And before I even knew what I was doing, before my lips even knew the words, I began to pray. No, not my prayer. His, the one he gave me in that moment, the one that was a lifeline. And I said, Father, I don't understand, but I trust you. I hurt, but I believe you are still good. I miss her, but I know she is not gone, only gone from my arms. You are the God who catches every tear, who buries grief in gardens and makes hope bloom again. So take my hands, take my pain, take the parts of me I no longer recognize and breathe life into them. Let me walk in the memory of my daughter not with despair, but with purpose. You gave her to me. Now teach me to carry her in how I live. Let my love for her shine through how I love others. Let my sorrow make space for other wounded hearts. And when I forget how to breathe, breathe for me. When I forget how to stand, hold me up. When I forget who I am, remind me that I am still yours, still held, still loved, and never truly alone. Amen. And the moment I said amen, the weight in my chest didn't vanish, but something shifted, like the first breeze after a long, still drought. Hope didn't shout. It whispered. And for the first time in weeks, I whispered back. I hear you. It didn't happen overnight. Healing rarely does. But something changed after that prayer, something subtle and sacred. I didn't stop crying, not right away. But the tears started to carry something else with them. Not just pain, but presence. Like each tear was no longer a wound, but a seed. And somehow, God was turning my weeping into a garden I hadn't known I was planting. The next morning, I made coffee for the first time in weeks. I poured 2 mugs out of habit. One for me, one for the empty chair across the table where Lily used to sit with her coloring books and peanut butter toast. I didn't throw the second mug away. I kept it there, like a promise. I even started writing letters to her, sometimes short ones. Hey, baby girl, I saw a rainbow today. Thought of you. Love you forever. Sometimes longer, sometimes angry, sometimes hopeful, but always honest. And every time I finished a letter, I'd whisper, "You're still with me." Because she was, not just in my memory, but in how I started to see the world again. I began volunteering at a grief support group for parents. The first time I walked into that community center basement, I nearly turned around. My legs shook, my chest tightened. But then I saw another mother sitting in the back row, eyes swollen, hands trembling, holding a folded drawing in her lap. I didn't need to ask who it was from. I just sat beside her, and we cried. Sometimes, that's the holiest thing 2 broken people can do. Just cry in the same key. Eventually, I started speaking, telling pieces of my story, sharing the moment God spoke to me in my daughter's bedroom. The night I fell apart and found him holding the pieces. People listened. They wept. They whispered, "Me too." And the silence I used to fear became sacred ground. One night, months later, I stood by Lily's grave under a full moon. I had brought her favorite flowers, sunflowers, and her old unicorn nightlight. I knelt, lit the tiny bulb, and set it next to her headstone. And that's when I felt it again. His presence. Not dramatic, not overwhelming, just real. And I heard him. Again. Soft, gentle, true. You have carried the storm, Claire. Now, let me teach you to carry the light. Your sorrow is not a curse. It's a calling. You are still a mother. Not just to Lily, but to every wounded soul I send your way. You are light in the dark now. You are proof that death does not have the final word. You have made space for love again. And where love exists, she lives. You will see her again. But until then, live. Tell her story. Speak her name. And let joy find you, even in broken places. I'm still here, still guiding you, still walking every step. You are not walking away from her. You are walking toward her, one holy breath at a time. And that was it. Not a miracle like the world defines them, but the real kind. The kind that lets a grieving mother wake up and smile again. The kind that makes her laugh at a memory, then cry, then laugh again. The kind that teaches her that moving forward doesn't mean moving on. It means carrying love forward. It means becoming the proof that light always follows darkness, even if it arrives slow, even if it arrives in pieces. Even if it looks nothing like you expected. Some days are still hard. Some nights, I still clutch that stuffed giraffe and cry into Lily's pillow. But I no longer scream at God. Now I sit with him, and I listen. And sometimes, he listens to me, too. Lord, thank you for never letting go. Even when I was angry. Even when I was silent. Even when I didn't want to be alive anymore. You stayed. You wept with me. You waited for me to breathe again. Now teach me to walk in grace, to love like my daughter did, bold, wild, and full of wonder. Let her memory be a lighthouse to others still lost at sea, and let my pain become a place where others feel safe enough to heal. You are not the God of answers. You are the God who stays, and that is enough. Amen.